Life is short seems like overused proverb, but even I was shocked how really short it is while researching for this episode. We need to be really careful about every second of it. Hi, my name is Vladislav Radak, I'm writer and mathematician and I teach financial mathematics at university. And my students oftenly ask me, and that's the most common question, how to invest their money and how to become rich. But I often point out that only commodity that we will never get back is time, and that we should be really careful how and with who we invest our time. That is the commodity that was slowly chipping away even when I was giving them that lecture, and even now when you watch this episode. We cannot rewind our time, but maybe there are some tricks how we can make the most of it. Let's not spend any more of it. Let me take you on an adventure. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're not, and please click the notification bell icon because I don't want you to miss my next episode. While you're watching this episode, I'm traveling the world in search for the most beautiful bookstore for one specific reason that I'm going to tell you really soon. The average lifespan for Europeans sits right at about 79 years. If you live in Chad, that comes down to about 50, and if you live in Monaco, you will hit about 90 years. So assuming that you understand some of the languages I speak on this channel, you will probably hit 79 years. But that's not really the point. Assuming that you sleep around 8 hours a day, that's a third of your life already gone. Now you're down around 53 years of your life. Next, on average you spend about 12 years going to school, assuming you go for 8 hours a day and 5 days a week. All of that time combined brings you down about 3 years. If you go to college, you reduce 2 more years, so now you're about 48 years of your life left. Next, let's imagine you work an average day job and work for 40 hours a week. An average person spends about 40 to 50 years just working a job. All that time combined comes down to about 10 years of your life completely on your job. So now you're at 38 years left. The average person takes about 1.5 hours for the commute to work every day, so when all that adds up, you spend around 2 years of your life just traveling to and from work. Now you're at 36 years left in your entire life. Every day we spend about 70 minutes just eating. That's about 4 years of your life, 32 years left. Next you spend about 1 hour a day working on household chores. This time adds up to around 3 years of your life. Now, 29 years left. Now we also just waste time. We spend about 13 years of our life just on our phones. Yeah, you heard that right. 13 years. All of this time not even considering TV or video games. Now we're about at 16 years left. Now, add 1 more hour of Netflix per day, and we all know we watch more than 1 hour of television per day. That adds up to around 2 years of your life. 2 years of watching Too Hot to Handle.
I like the international vibe. Harry's from Australia, and I literally have no idea where that is. Literally, this is our what's the word when you get a sign of hope? A loophole. Now you are left with only 14 years of your life, not counting that you might have kids and spend time on wiping their ungrateful little bums. 14 years is all we have left to travel, date, love, meet with friends or watch sunset on the beach, the only things that we actually consider living life. And that is depressing and sad and short. Or is it? Well, it actually depends how or with who you spent those 14 years. Some modern theories suggest that we need on average 10,000 hours to master one skill. Having 14 years as a freedom of choice means that we could potentially master 12 great human skills. Learn mathematics, learn how to play piano, write some novels, get an academic understanding of art, or become a semi-professional swimmer. Obviously, we as humans are not that efficient, but this unpretentious calculation means that life is more than ever full of possibilities. You can always optimize your time. If you're lucky enough to ask to work from home, you can potentially save 2 years of your life. And if you're able to halve your smartphone usage, you can save more than 6 years of your life.
Then cut to the Netflix and you have 2 more years. Now instead of 14 years of free choice time, you're actually up to about 24 years. In order to increase free quality life of your time, you should actually sleep more and not less. And of course, increase physical activity.
A 2020 analysis found that adults who sleep fewer than 7 hours per night had a whopping 41% increased risk of developing obesity and cardiovascular diseases. Sleeping between 7 and 9 hours per day will bring you more life years in a long run, healthier lifestyle in your retirement period, and less time spent at doctors.
And now I know what you're going to ask me. Well, Vladislav, we expected some tips or tricks how to actually slow down our lives with all this constant information overflow, with all those notifications, information going to work and home. Life feels like it's just speeding up and never slowing down. And trust me, I actually found solution from one great man, but this is not some writer or philosopher. This is Norwegian explorer Erlik Kaga, and he is actually going to teach you how to slow down your life by walking in silence.
Now, to me, wonder is the very engine of life, and I walked really long distances. It took me actually almost 40 years before I learned the pleasure of walking short distances. But I walked, for instance, to the North Pole with my friend Børge Aasland, all the way to the top of Earth, and then I also walked to Mount Everest Base Camp and eventually climbed all the way to the top of the mountain. And thirdly, I walked all the way to the South Pole in total solitude as the first in history. I didn't have any radio contact, I didn't talk to anyone on my trek. I was absolutely left to myself. And for the first couple of hours, maybe for a day or two, you have all this noise in your head. Although it's absolutely quiet around you, you're thinking, and when you think about the past, you think about the future, and all this, is like noise. But then time passes by, and you slowly start to think so much. You start much more to experience, to feel, being present in the moment, and that's when it's really great to be on an expedition. That somehow the future doesn't matter, the past doesn't matter. All that matters is to be present in your own life.
And don't forget, we were born in the best time of humankind, period.
Human knowledge is under your fingerprints. You don't actually need to die from malaria if you want to travel to other continent and instead months spent on rocky waves of the ocean. Now you can visit distant lands with only 6 hours on the plane. We live longer, we cure diseases faster, we communicate more efficiently and solve problems quicker.
If you read a book only 1 hour a day, that adds up to 50 books a year, totaling 2,500 books in a course of your lifetime.
Those are unlimited universes, travels, love adventures and deadly war experiences all playing out inside your head. Infinite words of wisdom and experiences from the past, present and the future. Countless life of others that you can meet through dusty pages that survived centuries.
For 1 hour reading a day, you can live 1,000 lives. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher from post-Augustan age of Latin literature, said,
"Life will follow the path it started upon and will neither reverse nor check its course. It will make no noise. It will not remind you of its swiftness. Silent, it will glide on. It will not prolong itself at the command of the king or the applause of the populace. Just as it was started on its first day, so it will run. Nowhere will it turn aside, nowhere will it delay. Life hides in all the concealed necessities we need to do. We need to eat, but we can choose to eat in a good company, food that really makes us fulfilled. We might commute to work, but with a good book, this time is not wasted. We can strive to work in jobs that make us rewarded and help others.
Life is rich. You just need to be very careful how you spend it.